All right, we rolling? I believe we are rolling. All right, this is Mr. Abilene checking in. We're going to help you with your bean germination lab. Help you get going on that. Maybe clarify some of the questions that you had that I wasn't able to answer. So I got my Diet Mountain Dew. I got my stylus. I think I'm ready to rock. So here's what I'm going to do. Make sure my stylus is working. All right, yeah. Okay, I'm going to kind of go over an experiment the same way I'd expect you to do this. I'm going to make it similar, but not the same. So I don't want you to just be able to copy whatever I'm doing. So I'm going to do something a little different. I am going to test if fertilizer makes plants grow higher. All right, grow. Well, you know what? I'll say the lentil plants. So what we're using. So does adding fertilizer cause lentil beans seeds to grow higher? It's a little different than what we're doing. And I'll clarify the differences so you don't get too confused. So what is the question you're testing? So I have does, and this is going to be really hard to write on this, so does fertilizer arrow increase? Now, don't give me an arrow. I want you to write it out, right? But for this is really tough. Actually, I got, does fertilizer increase smiley faces, according to this? I could do that. That would be kind of weird, though. So, does fertilizer increase lentil growth? So, here's the difference. Your test, you're measuring the number that grow, and in my test, I am going to measure the length of the growth. Whoa, look out. I hate when it does that. The length of the growth. Okay, so you are doing the number that grow. Just to clarify, I am going to do the length that grows. Okay, so I'm doing it the same way you need to do it. I'm just using different stuff because I want you still to be able to do it on your own, not just kind of copy what I got on my video. All right, so when you're doing these boxes, I always think it's helpful to draw out the experiment. Okay, it lets you visualize, what you're doing, gives you an idea of what you're testing. So, and everything should be the same except for one thing between this box and that box. So, in my test, I'm using lentils too, right? I'm going to use, I got a lot of lentils. I'm going to use 15 lentils. So if I use 15 here, I need 15 over here. So we did not use 15 lentils. But you want to make sure you got the same amount of lentils in both, okay? You can't have different amounts in the test groups. That's a problem. Now, I am also going to use a paper towel. So I got my paper towel over here. Actually, you know what? I'll keep it the same. Paper towel. That should be the same. What else did we have the same? We also had a baggie. I'm going to use a pot. Make it a little different. How's that? A pot, because I'm growing it now, so I'm use a pot.
Growing seeds in there?
Oh yeah, we grew seeds yesterday, so we're gonna check them on Monday.
But where are they?
They are in those baggies over there. So yeah, so actually, there's one growing in there. So people checking out our seeds, pretty cool. All right, so now I got to figure out my one variable. Okay, other things be the same, but you got the idea. So you had your number of lentils, so make sure you got number of lentils. What you got in it, you should have some sort of paper, and then what you put them in. They should all be the same. What is my difference? I have fertilizer. Okay. I don't know what your difference is. Everyone picked a different one, so I can't tell you what to put here. So think about what you put different. What is varying? What is your variation? Was it the lights? Was it the salt water? Was it the amount of the sugar in the water? Okay, all things you should be thinking about.
How many different solutions did they have?
Okay, so now we're going to scroll down here and these observations. So these might be tough for you to think of, but there's definitely something that could affect your test. Like there's a big one that everyone should have.
Like NCIS.
One that you should have noticed that really might have been improved for everybody. That had to do with the water. So think about what you could have improved with the water. So I'm going to go ahead and say for mine that one pot was slightly bigger, okay? And that's probably not good. Remember, you want two the same pots. But these are things that you might have noticed. You could also say that maybe one of the plants, one of the seeds Okay, some of the seeds were a little larger, so I didn't have identical size seeds. That might affect my test. So I would focus on things like the water, maybe how your beans were arranged in the bag. Maybe, oh, you know what? One of my beans fell on the floor, you know? You might think, oh, you don't know. But, you know, those are the things that might affect your test. If that bean doesn't grow, maybe it wasn't the fertilizer, or maybe it wasn't your acid level, but it was me dropping it on the floor. So those are some ideas there. Let's think about me and my burrito test. And I went, and all those different, yeah, sometimes you just get a dried out old bean, you know, this wasn't gonna grow. So make a note of that. If these beans you got a couple that are brown over here, you know, that might make a difference. I mean, we're not bean experts, but it might, who knows. All right, I'm gonna skip to the next page. Okay, now here is where you probably need the most help with. So we did a data table in class today, and I thought it went pretty good. So I'm going to make a different data table, all right? What you need to do is kind of get some lines in. So like here's some data tables up here, some examples. So basically you need to make a box and then figure out what you need to get in there. So what are you testing? Okay, I'm testing different amounts of fertilizer. Okay, let's say. So for the sake of example, I'll make a data table. So I need amount of the amount of fertilizer and then the length over here. So I got two things. And it's always good to have this. This is always a good start. Okay, this is a good start to a data table. So when in doubt, do this. This is going to be our cause. All right, what are we changing at the start? So for me, it's fertilizer. For you, it's going to be something else. We didn't have fertilizer. So don't put fertilizer on your sheet because you didn't do it. All right, so don't put what I'm writing here. Remember, you're doing this for yours, whether it was salt water or something. And here is also a little different for me. I've got length of shoot, the bean shoot. I know, Mr. Ebling, you're out of the data table. I get it. You're going to have a different thing. You are measuring the number of beans, so keep that in mind, number of beans. Now, how many different test groups do I have? It depends. So I've definitely got one with none. All right, so this data table is going to tell me that none has this much growth, and I've got just I'm going to show you what a better test would be. We're going to say 5 grams of fertilizer, and then it's probably going to add more, 10 grams of fertilizer. Some of you guys have 3 groups. If you only have 2 groups, okay, you can get rid of that and just have 2 here. And if you have 3 groups, you have 3. But that's it. That's a data table. All right, so don't overthink it. Just make sure that it works. So let's say I have no fertilizer here, and I'll say the average length, okay? The average length of the shoots was 1.5 millimeters, okay? And then this one was 2.5 millimeters. So now someone could look at your data table and say, all right, it does that. No fertilizer got that much growth. 5 grams got this much growth. It reads nice and easy. Sweet. How we doing? I'm going to get some Mountain Dew. Diet Mountain Dew. All right. Okay. The graph. Cause and effect. That's it. So you put your cause on the bottom, your effect on the side. I'm not going to tell you what to put because you got different stuff. My cause, and I said do a bar graph. This would be, some of you are going to do bars, some of you are going to be, might be better with a line graph. So let me see if I can tell you the difference. If you're doing 2 groups, I would do a bar graph. So let's say you've got salt and no salt. 5% salt, no percent salt. That makes a good bar graph. So your cause is what you're changing. So for me, it's fertilizer. So I got fertilizer down here. Okay, and my effect is the length. You guys have number, and I don't know what you got down here. So I would just have, bar graph for my no fertilizer, and maybe a group more with my 5 grams. If you've got 3 groups, you might be better off doing a line graph. Okay? Just saying. But right now, you just got to set it up and label it, so I'm not worried about it. All right, making a summary. So we did a little bit of this in class today, and there's no way I'm going to be able to write neatly in this thing. So I'm just going to kind of brainstorm. So give me 4 good sentences. Okay, so I'm going to kind of keep it simple here. So 4, now some of you might get more than that, but give me 4 good ones. So number 1, first sentence, tell me what you're doing. So I would say and listen, because like I said, it's going to be hard for me to write. We tested, I tested to see if, all right, so now there's the question. We're testing to see if. I tested to see if adding fertilizer would increase the length of the bean shoots compared to beans without fertilizer. So think about what you did. You did maybe, let's say you had different temperature. We tested to see if different temperatures affected the number of beans that germinated. Okay, that's your first one. Give a basic explanation of what you're doing. Second, tell me how you're going to do it. Okay, how are you going to do this? All right, we set up one group with 15 beans, okay, and I added 5 grams of fertilizer and put it in a pot. Okay? And also set up 15 beans in a similar pot with no fertilizer and put them in a pot. So just tell me how you're going to test it. So you guys did, 10 beans? So tell me what you did to those 10 beans in both of your test groups. All right? Third sentence, tell me why you doing this? What do you think's going to happen? All righty, have a good one, Mr. Gierke. All righty, it's Friday tomorrow. Oh yeah, we got a video tomorrow. Awesome. Tomorrow, actually, when you watch, it's probably be today. So when you see this, it'll probably already be Friday. But for me, it's Thursday night. Tell me why. Why are you doing this? Okay, we think that adding the fertilizer will increase the growth. Don't stop there. Don't say that we think that the salt will add to the growth. Give me a why. Explain that. Okay, so have a little bit of reasoning. So we think that the fertilizer will add to the growth because it has more nutrients to grow. So if you're doing something like the acid, there's 2 different ways you can look at that acid. Like, we think that the acid would increase the growth because it would do this to the bean. Some of you might think it might hurt because it might do that to the bean. So fourth, tell me why. And, the fourth, tell me, okay, just kind of wrap it up. Tell me you're measuring. Tell me what you're measuring. Okay, so tell me what you're going to measure at the end, okay? We're doing it on Monday. So after 4 days, which is about right. Okay, so you guys did it, Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday. So 4 days. After 4 days, we will, tell me what you're going to do. How are you going to know if your experiment worked? We will count the number of beans. Well, for me, I'm going to change mine. I will measure the length of the beans and compare which group grew more. So you're going to tell me something about after 4 days, comparing which grew more seeds. Okay, this is all I need from you right now, okay? Give me 4 sentences. So tell me what it is you're testing. Okay, give me a basic explanation. You got your 2 groups. Tell me about your 2 groups. How are you going to do it? Okay, how are you going to set it up? Tell me why and what do you think is going to happen? And then give me a sentence about what you're measuring. So how do you know if your prediction is right? And man, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't bad at all. So hopefully this helps. You might see this on Friday or over the weekend. This is due Monday. Monday we're going to analyze our data. And I'll have another sheet for you, so I'll probably have another video. All right, guys, have an awesome weekend. And like this on YouTube, because it's coming. And you can also feel free to leave me any comments or messages about it. If you need any more clarification on something, let me know, and I can make some more vids. Hasta mañana. Bush.